Do something, you're on film.
I'm Joe from GC Gamers Connect Facebook group and soon to be website. We promote local businesses to conventions and hopefully bring on a lot of freelancers able to produce their work and publish their work. It's a work in progress. We're getting there slowly. Sometimes it feels like molasses through a straw. This year is Tobias. He is a longtime friend of mine and GM of our local Pathfinder group and pretty much whatever kind of group we've got. So again, this is for the viewers, this is the 3.5 versus Pathfinder panel where we're going to showcase both systems and hopefully get some good discussion out of it. So I'll give the reins over to Tobias.
Originally, my plan was to do it as a sort of Mac versus PC, but my cohort, who was supposed to represent 3.5, is, well, he was sick the last 3 days, and probably sick today too, so I had to throw it sort of into the air, but now I can go ahead and continue. We have two major high fantasy games on the D20 system. You have your good old classic, 3.5 generations old, over 60 years of existence. You've got your D&D, specifically 3.5, which is arguably one of the better versions of D&D. Some saying D&D was better. Either way, they all agree 4.0 sucked completely. So, but we've got a new guy on the field as of late, Pathfinder, or D&D 3.75. It's really, a new game. Started up about 8 years ago from Piazzo. They've really taken and started running with it. I mean, it's almost indistinguishable except on a lot of different categories, which we will be bringing up. Because let's face it, with two games so close, which one is the better one? Well, let's go ahead and start off. You have D&D 3.5 and Pathfinder. For Pathfinder, this is all the books. All except for the modules. You've got all the books here. So, I mean, if you're a gamer on a budget, and let's face it, who isn't? $200 of investment, and you have everything you need and everything you want. I mean, as a GM, great, really great. It's very cost effective. I have all the books, and as a GM, I require my players if they want to use a feat or ability or a class, they got to have the books too. So, financially speaking, not much of an investment. On the other hand, this is about 1/8 of 3.5 books, or the hard drive, 90%, including modules and 3.0 books. So, enough to say, 3.5 has a lot more books out there, and to say that there is a lot of information and a lot of books, and if you're going to get the books, it's going to be a large investment unless you download them, in which case you can actually keep them on a little tablet. And, well, let's face it, carrying around a tablet is a lot easier than carrying around, say, either a book or a tote, book bag or a tote full of books. So, both have their strengths and weaknesses on this field. They both sort of come out. And another point on 3.5 is you're going to be able to get a lot of books. The problem is there's a lot of rare used books, and those are going to cost you if you really want them. Again, you can download them in theory, if you can find them, and if you're willing to go that route. So, frankly, when it comes down to it, from a player and a game master's perspective, limited number of books, small cost, that's the point in both. Pathfinder, categories for players and game masters, and the ability to get just about every book electronically for 3.5, that's going to be the point in D&D space.
I would point out that Paizo has an advantage over D&D where when D&D went the electronic route for their D&D Insider and stuff like that, you have to pay a subscription in order to get their newer books. Now granted, a lot of that's for 4th ed, and a lot of their 3.5s are not available on their site. However, in Pathfinder's case, Paizo did a really good job by producing what they call the Pathfinder reference document. And they took a lot of the fluff out of the books, so the art's not there, but you can get the classes, the gameplay, some of the bestiaries are on the PRD website, which is a really nice resource for Pathfinder guys. Now the downside with that is certain groups like Pathfinder societies will not allow you to use the PRD for their gameplay. If you want to play that class, you've got to have the books in order to play it. So that's.
And as a GM, I personally do require my players to have the books. I mean, if I've got to have all the books, you know, they should at least have most of them too. At least what they want to use. You get people who don't want to play a caster, so they don't really need the caster, you know, Ultimate Magic or the Complete Divine or whichever system you're really messing with. Now that being said, as far as resource-wise, you know, Pathfinder has few books, and there really is a limitation on the amount of customizability that your character has. There is very few viable prestige classes. Yes, they do have the archetypes that you can apply to your core classes, but all they do is just change a few things. And again, most of them, I wouldn't actually consider viable, in your standard gaming. There's just they sacrifice too many good features for some very situational ones, and I just feel that the archetypes personally are not all that strong. So when it comes to character customability, Pathfinder really kind of lacks it. On the other hand, D&D 3.5 has a buttload. I mean, just the sheer number of prestige classes, variants to the core classes, different kinds of core classes. Just the sheer number of them. You have a large amount of things to pull from. You can basically play a class any way you truly want. I mean, there's even a large number of feats that are, in 3.5 that really, Pathfinder doesn't have. So as far as character customability, I'm going to say as a player, 3.5 really got that in the bag. As a GM, that large number of customability is a lot to try to keep balanced among the players. I mean, let's face it, you can take 3 prestige classes and then you have the unhittable mark. You have with enough feet, you have the woe-winning cleaving fighter, who delivers, with the right scenario, delivers 800 attacks to a single target. As he, gets his allies to summon a swarm of rats, and he woe-wins and then he to, whatever NPC you decide to throw at him. Kill a rat, lead to the NPC. Kill a rat, lead to the NPC. So, I gotta say, as a GM, just the sheer number is a lot for players to break. And it kind of